This is R.E.P.O, a game that has a ton of unique and interesting mechanics, and I thought since I'm a game developer, it would be a fun challenge to try and spend 2 days making a sort of prototype version of the game. There's two things I have to clarify before we start. One, you will not actually be able to play this, unless somehow I get permission from the R.E.P.O devs to release it, partially out of respect for them, and partially because that's an insane amount of copyright infringement. And two, it won't actually be online multiplayer, because I don't know how to do that. But that aside, let's get started. First thing to do is make a scene. We're going to start with an inside-out cube for the room and get a player that can move around and look around. Boom, great start. Now we need valuables, the objects that you put in your cart and bring to the extraction point for money. We can start with a little cube and have it print A when we click on it so that we know when we're clicking on it, and then we need to be able to pick it up. I'll gloss over most of this complicated math and physics stuff, but the basic rundown is that we need to get the point that we're grabbing it from and add a force from that point to a certain target point in front of us, which mostly works. The small object is a little excited, but that's fine. We're trying to do this fast, right? It's added difficulty, whatever. Next thing, valuables in R.E.P.O typically have a value, which is pretty easy to implement here. We just put some text up that renders on top of everything and have it go down if the valuable gets knocked into something. Next, we probably want to do extraction, so I'm just going to set up this little area here, make it so valuables are invincible when they're inside of it, and put up some numbers which add up to the valuables' values. Then we need these big walls to come down and delete everything inside when we meet the quota. I'm now at a point where I need to make a decision. What enemies do I want to replicate? Well, my favorite enemy is the clown, and I feel like that would be a fun challenge, but it would also take a long time, and the headman looks a lot better in a thumbnail. So we're gonna do that instead. I also want to do a smaller one, so we'll also do the gnomes later. Start by making the headman in Blender. I'm not a 3D artist, but I'll do my best. We're just gonna get a side and front reference of a head, just model it, and now that's done, painted. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. Get some 3D navigation so he can follow me around, some light animation, make it able to attack and damage me, and boom, easy. This guy isn't very useful without a level for him to hunt me through, so I'll do that next. Go into Blender, cut up some cubes to be a modular set of rooms. Nothing fancy here, just cubes with some doors in them. Put those together in the engine, and now we have a map. It's worth noting that obviously R.E.P.O's levels are procedurally generated, which means that they're generated by a procedure created with code. They aren't manually placed like this, but I don't have time to write the code for that, so we're just gonna do it manually. I'm still missing something really important, which is the cart, so it's time to make that. For now, it partially works. I just need to make it so you can actually grab it and carry it around. But first, I'm going to bed because I've been working on this pretty much all day, and it's 12:42 a.m. Next morning, I woke up, made the cart spin with you, but not quite move with you yet, and if I jump on it, it clips through the floor. That's not good. Okay, so the reason that's happening is that there's 3 different types of physics bodies in Godot. There's static bodies, kinematic or character bodies, and rigid bodies. Static bodies are simple. They don't move at all, they aren't affected by physics, they just stay where they are and act as collision. Rigid bodies are also simple. They're affected by physics right out of the box. They fall, collide, spin, and all that important stuff without you needing to write specific code to tell them to. Kinematic bodies, which were renamed to character bodies a little while back, I don't understand why, since they can be used for things other than characters, but whatever. Kinematic bodies are a sort of combination of a static body and a rigid body. It has all the tools, variables, and functions you need to let it act like a rigid body, but it doesn't do that by default. You have to code its behavior yourself. Typically, this is a good thing because it gives you more control over the body's movement, but it leads to issues when trying to interact with rigid bodies. Since kinematic bodies' movement is handled by just a velocity variable, they technically have infinite inertia, meaning they can basically just push on any rigid bodies with an infinite amount of force, allowing them to push things through the floor. Obviously, this is a problem, and my 2 options are to either ignore it or make the player a rigid body. The only problem with making the player a rigid body is that, well, it's harder to control. And apparently if you try hard enough, you can still push stuff through the floor. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore it, whatever. I tried, I spent like half an hour on this, it's not worth it. Anyways, after that, I made the cart actually move with you when you're holding the handle. I also made it so you can scroll in and out to move it further away like you can with valuables. And you can't do that in regular R.E.P.O. One of the most important systems in R.E.P.O is the stealth system, and my character can't even crouch yet, so let's do that next. We also want something to hide under, so I'll put together a little table here and make it so that we won't uncrouch if we're under something. Once that's done, we can finish up the headman and add the gnomes. You may have noticed before that the headman was just kind of going straight for us no matter what, but we want it to wander a little bit and then only start attacking once it sees us. I'll make it path to a random room and give it an area which, if I'm inside and not crouched, it'll come attack me until I'm out of that area. And then another smaller area where it'll attack me if I'm inside of it, even if I am crouched. Okay, this game kind of looks really bad. Everything's gray, so it's time for a visual overhaul. I added some nice doorways and textures to the rooms. It doesn't look good at all, but I'm not a 3D artist, and I'd rather do this than leave it blank or take some random assets off the internet. Okay, and now we're running out of time. Last thing I'm gonna do is add the gnomes. We're gonna model this little guy up in Blender, just gonna freestyle this one, not look at any reference. I gave him a bald spot, sure, great, he's in the game now. Give that collision, animation, navigation, follow and wander behavior. Remind the viewer that game development takes a really long time, and if you expected anything more than this from like a 2-day project, you're severely uninformed, and then bam, we're done and it's playable. So let's play it. All right, so we see our quota, we grab our cart. It's a big item right here. Grab that guy. Bring it into the extraction. Push that in a little more. Get the cart back. Keep going with it. Oh, and there's the gnome. I gotta hide from that guy. This is definitely the same behavior it exhibits in the game. Oh, and the headman now. I gotta hide from that guy too. So well hidden behind my cart. Oh, and he turned around. Okay. Gonna follow this guy a little bit. There's a valuable up on this table. Gonna grab it and put it in my cart. And definitely not miss because he's trying to take it, but I got it back. Grab my cart back, bring it there. Put my valuable in the cart. Perfect, there we go, okay. I'm gonna go into this room back here, grab this, do the same thing, put it in the cart. Grab these up here, put them in the cart. Okay, go in here, careful of the gnome, hide under this table here, as you do. As you do in R.E.P.O, you hide from the gnome under the table. Grab this out from under the table, put it in my cart, looking out for the gnome. Now I've got enough for the quota, and I'm gonna sneak back and get it extracted. One last headman encounter. Ooh, I'm looking a little surrounded right now. Oh no, what am I gonna do? Oh, so much dramatic tension, and he's stuck on my cart because the collision is weird. And he's stuck on my cart again. I'm gonna keep hiding in this corner and then sneak past him. And now it's time to extract. Wow, absolutely incredible. I even added sound effects. I didn't tell you guys about that. Yeah, there's no like win or lose yet. You can die. I'm gonna go, I'll show you guys the death. I didn't show that part yet. I made a little death animation. Let's look at that, huh? Yeah, wow. Oh no, oh no! Now that that's done, I'm gonna ask you to do something that probably no other YouTuber has ever asked you to do, and that is to not subscribe. I might be wrong, but I'm somewhat expecting this video to go outside of my currently very small audience, just because it's about a game that's very topical and in the limelight right now. And these kinds of videos seem to do pretty well typically, and if that does happen, that's great. But the problem is that this isn't really the kind of content that I typically make. Usually it's more theoretical game design analysis with a few devlogs here and there, but all of it is my own work. I'm not a R.E.P.O YouTuber, and I'm not just going to be remaking whatever popular game shows up every month. So if you subscribe and then don't watch any of my other videos, YouTube is going to think that my videos suck and not recommend them to anyone. So instead of subscribing, please look at my other videos and see if you like them, and then make your decision from there. With that said though, this was actually pretty fun, so I might do a part 2 if the video performs well, or if it doesn't, then this whole paragraph is kind of useless and frankly embarrassing. But to be honest, the main reason I'm writing this is that I have a kind of secret YouTube arch nemesis. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's a guy I went to high school with, and he's in roughly the same spot as me in terms of YouTube, but once a year he makes a video about a thing that happens once a year, and that gets him like 50,000 views and like 1,000 subscribers, but all of his other videos still barely break like 200, and I'm just looking at it and like, man, why'd you do that? You're just nuking your ratios. It's not helpful for him. Anyways, like I said, I could be wrong about this video reaching a wider audience, but we'll see, right? Thank you for watching. Like and comment if you enjoyed. Watch my other videos. Don't subscribe if this is the first video you've seen of mine. Goodbye.